Have you ever been going about your day and then you hear someone chewing or clicking a pen, and this sudden, totally unreasonable rage just boils up inside you? Well, today we're going to dig into why some perfectly normal sounds can feel like a personal attack. So, picture this. You're just sitting there, maybe in a quiet room, feeling completely calm. And then it starts, a simple, everyday sound. And just like that, it's not just an annoying sound anymore. It feels like an assault, a wave of anger or even panic that's so intense you can actually feel it in your body. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know this is a real thing. To really get this, we have to talk about what that experience is actually like. It's kind of like a storm that just appears out of nowhere, right inside your own head. I mean, one minute you're fine, you're enjoying a meal, you're trying to work, and the very next, the sound of someone chewing, or a keyboard tapping, or even just breathing, it just ignites this totally overwhelming response. And you're not choosing it, right? It's an involuntary reaction that completely takes over. So, what is actually going on here? Because let's be clear, this is way, way more than just a pet peeve or being easily annoyed. And that's really the big question, isn't it? Why does your brain react to something as harmless as a pen clicking as if it were an actual legitimate threat? It doesn't make logical sense, and that's part of what's so frustrating. So let's just give this a name without getting all clinical about it. We can call it selective sound sensitivity. See, it's not a character flaw. It's a very specific experience where certain sounds kick off a real, powerful, and immediate response in your body and your emotions. The answer, it turns out, isn't really about the sound itself. It's all about how your brain is processing that sound. So let's take a peek at what your brain looks like when it's on high alert. Okay, so we all have this incredible survival tool built right in, the fight or flight response. You know it, right? It's your body's ancient automatic alarm system. When it thinks you're in danger, it floods you with adrenaline to get you ready to either fight for your life or run away. It's a brilliant system for keeping us safe. But, and this is the key, for people with this sound sensitivity, that powerful alarm system is getting a false signal. A totally harmless sound gets incorrectly tagged as a major threat. You could basically call it a neurological misfire. Look at this comparison. It makes it so clear. For most people, the sound of keyboard tapping is just, well, it's background noise. You tune it out. But for someone with a sensitive response, the brain hears that exact same sound and interprets it as danger, all caps, with an exclamation point. So how in the world does that misfire even happen? Let's dig a little deeper and see what it looks like when the brain's wires get crossed. Think of it like this. A sound comes into your ear, right? Normally, that signal travels to the logical, thinking parts of your brain to be processed. But with one of these trigger sounds, that signal takes a wrong turn. It gets hijacked and sent straight to your brain's emotional alarm center. And bam, the fight or flight response goes off instantly. And this really gets to the heart of it. This whole reaction, it isn't a choice. It's not a decision you're making. It is a deeply hardwired connection between a sound and an emotion, that feeling of panic or rage. You just can't think your way out of it. So, knowing the science behind it is one thing, but this little neurological quirk has a huge impact on everyday life. It can feel like you're constantly navigating a really loud, sometimes hostile world. All of a sudden, places that are supposed to be normal or even relaxing become total minefields. You know, the family dinner table with all that chewing and silverware clinking. The modern open office, just a symphony of clicking and typing. Heck, even a supposedly quiet library or a movie theater can become a major source of anxiety. And this is the silent scream happening inside your head. It's this desperate, urgent plea for the sound to just stop. Not because you're trying to be controlling or difficult, but because your entire nervous system is yelling at you that you are in real physical danger. But hold on, what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if we just shifted our perspective a little? Instead of seeing it as a problem that needs to be fixed, what if we thought of it as a trait to be understood, as the sign of a finely tuned mind? So, what if this isn't a defect? Not a disorder, not something broken at all. Maybe it's just a form of high sensitivity. Maybe it's just a brain that happens to be wired to process sensory information, in this case sound, with an absolutely incredible intensity. And that leads us to one final thought, a question that might just reframe this whole experience for you. What if it's not that you are overreacting to the world around you? What if it's actually that your brain is just listening more closely than most? That it's picking up on details in the soundscape that other people just automatically filter out? Yeah, it's a challenge for sure, but it comes from a place of heightened perception. So next time you feel that surge, just remember, your brain isn't broken. It's just finely tuned.